Hello there, I hope and pray that this video finds you in a good way. This is KFO, author of The Making of God Men. The book is not yet out, but it will be soon. This is the part 2 of entering into the promised land, entering into your promised land. And today we're going to be focusing on the promised land of the church, and that can really be found in Ephesians 4 from verse, let's say, 11 to 16, where we understand a few things that God gave the fivefold in 11 and the fivefold train us, the verse 12, and then the end result is what we see in the verse 13, 14, 15 and 16, where we see us reaching the unity of the faith, becoming mature men, attaining the measure of the stature of the fullness of Christ, and where we know that's verse 13. Verse 14 and 15 talks about how verse 14 talks about how we'll no longer be tossed to and fro by every wind of doctrine, that's being firmly rooted in what we believe and what we understand. And the verse 15 and 16 talks about how each and every different part gives something, and this leads to us growing up into the head. And this is what I want to speak about. That is our promised land, growing up into the head, as reaching the measure of the stature of the fullness of Christ. Fullness speaks about the entirety of something. That's what pleroma is, the entirety of something, the whole matter. And Christ is speaking about the anointed one. So from these two, we can kind of get that us attaining the measure of the stature of the fullness of Christ speaks about us attaining a place that represents fully what it means to be anointed. This is not talking about one person, this is talking about an organism, the organism of the church. So I may be producing love. Though all of us produce love, we produce it in different degrees, and somebody may be producing more prophecy, somebody may be teaching, somebody may be working in the corporate area, bringing in money that we need to push kingdom projects, all of this. And us all doing our functions and showing the world who Christ is through our own deeds. Remember, Christ said that whilst he is in this world, he is the light of the world. And after he passed on this baton to us by saying that ye are the light of the world, in First Corinthians chapter 2 verse 14, it talks about how, or is it 2 Corinthians? It talks about how we are the fragrance to which the knowledge of the Son of God is made manifest, and we spread him, basically. When we read Matthew 5:16, it talks about how our light shines and then people see our Father's good deeds. Ephesians 5:1 and 2 speaks about how we should imitate God as dearly beloved children, living lives of love as Christ did. When we read 1 John, it talks about how anybody who says he believes in Jesus should also walk like him. And this is our basic core. This is the promised land of the church. We have to show what it means to be anointed. I'd liken our growing as a body, I did in a book, to an infant. And you see, infants, when we compare their heads, the size of their heads to their body, like babies, toddlers, we find out that the head looks big as compared to the body. And as we grow, what happens is that the body kind of now suits the head. Not that the head grows smaller, but the body grows to accommodate the head, and it looks more proportioned. And did the same thing in the body of Christ. We have to grow to suit our head, being Christ, so that the head, the body basically acts out what the head coordinates, and that is what we do. His major purpose or his major plan is to spread his knowledge, and that is what we as the body do. That's the promised land. You see, we are built by the ministers, but we also serve, and we all do our own things in our own capacities, and a beautiful picture of Christ on earth is then seen. The burden of the Emmanuel, God with us, now lies on us. If somebody wants to see how God is, who he is, how he loves, how powerful he is, they must be able to see that in his church, his representatives, his ambassadors, his light. God bless you. This is our promised land. Stay blessed.